other 60 artists that are featured in there as well. Tons of great stuff in there. And again, all the proceeds benefit both the artists and Hawaii Appleseed. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn our attention to our next artist, who is, I believe, all the way in Waikiki right now joining us. Let's welcome Amber Urias. Amber, welcome.
Hey, hi, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So Amber, I know we talked about this earlier, that you were stoked that you were getting to follow Solomon Enos. You said
Yes.
that he's such a huge inspiration to you,
Yeah.
and that this is your first interview experience. So
Yeah.
here you are. How do you feel? How did you feel about after hearing what Solomon had to say, and now you get to be on the spotlight?
I'm just so incredibly grateful, and so humble and just like I can't believe it's happening. I'm just really grateful to be here. And Solomon, I did papers with him and like I've gone and seen him talk and he's just so inspirational and the way that his color is used is an inspiration because that's what I like to do in my pieces too is use like really vivid color and just immerse myself in that. So
Yeah, well, speaking of your work, you do a lot of paints, and the thing that I thought was really interesting about your work is that you're located, I guess, in Waikiki, which I feel like
yeah,
there's probably a lot of inspiration, but at the same time, when we
yeah.
think Waikiki, it's like a lot of like loud noises, chaos, a lot of people and stuff, but yet it seems like that's kind of where you find a lot of focus and beauty in your work. Is that not correct?
Yes, absolutely. I'm really inspired by my surroundings, especially when the pandemic hit. We're in Waikiki. We really felt it because it turned into a ghost town. The streets were empty. The trolleys and the buses that you're used to hearing empty. The hotel elevators stopped going up and down, and it's just you like start to feel really alone. Um, so that's where a lot of the inspiration came from is like the experience of being alone and then the experience of you'll see it in one of my pieces um, hearing everybody at like 7 o'clock on the
Hmm.
Alawai and you hear air horns and chi-hoos and we're not alone even though it seems like a ghost town but
Yeah,
yeah,
so
definitely Waikiki.
that's such a unique perspective for those of us who have been here in the islands, affected by the pandemic. It definitely, I think, resonated with a lot of people with just how serious this was when we saw Waikiki, which was just known for just bustling with life, and then seeing those images of the streets empty and such. Um, I, I wanted to bring up one of the pieces that you have in our art gallery. Um, what is, tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind this, and what what were you feeling when you put this piece together?
So initially, I, I, I was a server and I was surrounded by hundreds of people a day. And when the pandemic hit and I lost my job, um, I started having a lot of alone time and it started feeling really lonely, and once they opened the ocean back up, all we were allowed to do was swim. And so I took that opportunity. I love to swim, I love to snorkel, and I took that opportunity to try to go every single day. And so I found this spot at Kaimana's. It's called Kaimana's at Sunset. I
Hmm.
found this spot where the turtles dwell, where they slept. They tucked themselves under the reef, and I would float out there for hours just observing and just like kind of just being in a different type of quiet where you don't hear people talking pandemic, pandemic, pandemic.
Yeah.
And as I observed and I started going day after day, like I think for a month straight, I went every single day to Kaimana's. And I started observing the different beauties of this place. So each level of the painting, from the bottom to the top, is a different experience, is a different tangible observation from the light lines to the actual reef where, like, I took pictures on my GoPro,
Uh-huh.
the reef where the turtles sleep, the turtles themselves, like the motion of the currents, even though it's like all one blue, it's still very much almost violent sometimes. And then there's the turtles and the way that the light shoots through the surface of the water, especially at sunset, is almost this golden. Um, so I used gold paint. And then the surface of the water is like this really almost, I realize it now that it's almost like a gunmetal. It's like
Huh.
a silver, but here I was just trying to figure out what that color was. And then, of course, there's the floating and like just letting life kind of just, it's so heavy sometimes. So to be able to float was just like a very freeing feeling. And then sometimes the paintbrushes or like the clouds will look like paintbrushes. So I took my brush and I just made a cloud. So it's all very tangible experiences, and I wanted to capture that feeling and
Yeah.
remember it. So there's a lot of emotion in it for me.
So I know we have a few more pieces that we're going through, and we'll kind of show them as we talk. But I wanted to ask you, going from, having this environment of lots of stimulation and the hustle and bustle of Waikiki, and then the pandemic kind of bringing a lot of calm and nothingness almost. How did that allow you to grow or expand as an artist? Now, having this shift in environment.
Yeah. Well, it gave me the time. I would have never had this time. I started creating I initially was doing portraits to get that connection that I was missing, right? I was doing portraits of friends or just of just beautiful people that I wanted to capture that essence of connection. And but if the pandemic didn't hit, I would never have this time. I would still be serving. I would be working full time. I've created a lot of work. A lot of it's not shown, but just a lot of time to create my website and like really give this my all and focus on what I've been wanting to do for so long. I went to school for art, and everyone's like, well, what are you going to do with that? And I really wanted to be an artist, and this is what it is now. So I'm so grateful in
Uh,
strange ways, gonna make it work.
I'm so glad that you didn't listen to those people and that you just followed your passion and your heart, because
Yeah.
you're far too talented to not have these out there in the world. Um, I
Thank
wanted to continue to see some more of your art here in the gallery. What is it that you would like to share with our viewers as far as what are the things that you want your art and pieces like these to evoke or inspire in them? Is there anything in particular that you would hope
you. Yeah.
to, as far as
Yeah.
connecting with these people that do take your art home?
Yeah, so, I do often think that art is a weapon and it can be used as a weapon, but for me, I use it as a tool for peace. And it's brought me peace to create these things. And I hope that it comes across as peaceful, whether it's in the color or whether it's in the essence of the entire piece. I really just want to bring a sense of peace and hope in a time that's very chaotic and stressful.
Yeah.
And that's how I have been able to find that peace myself, is by getting out of my head and putting it all on the canvas.
Well, I absolutely love your work, and I love the colors, and it it's interesting because while the colors are so vibrant and evoke a lot of energy and positivity, the images that you put out does evoke that peace and calm and comfort. And it's just such a neat combination of how you're able to do that with your work. Just uh, I know that there's a lot of fans out here watching this right now that also agree and just love your work. What would you want as far as to share with the rest of the people watching here, how can they stay connected with you? Anything that you would want them to know before we let you get back to the peace and calm of Waikiki?
Right? um, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Amber_Urias. And then my website is just amberurias.com. And then you can find my full portfolio on there. I also have like hoodies and stuff that I put my paintings on.
Oh, neat.
So more accessible ways like phone cases and stuff like that, you know. So some of the paintings here are actually on phone cases or towels or stuff that you can like have, you know. I like that
Yeah.
accessibility too. So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram or find me on my website, which does have other social media handles on there as well.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad I got to meet you. I loved spending this time with you, and um, I I'm really excited to see more work coming out of your studio there. But in the meantime, thank you so much for providing your talents and your art for Artists for Appleseed, and thanks for being a part of our wonderful gallery here.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here.
All right. Well,
Appreciate
we'll
it.
we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. Thank you so much, Amber, for joining us again on tonight's Artists for Appleseed spotlight here. And we have another artist in the wing.